Okay, we're taking a look at our next lesson here. It's 19.4, and we're looking at solving problems with bar graphs. So we're going to look at data that we have with the tally marks and create this data here using a bar graph. Okay, so we're looking at this survey here that Jordan took of his classmates to find out their favorite sports teams or their favorite team sports. He recorded the results in the table at the right. How can he show the results in a bar graph? So you have this to do right here, and it'll walk you through it. So the first thing you need to do is write a title at the top of the table here to tell you what the graph is about. And where do you get that? It's right here. This is the title, favorite sports team. So we always want to do this before we start putting in the data. Okay, we put the title here, and what's the next thing to do? Label the side here. What's the side here? Label the side to tell. Label the side of the graph to tell about the bars. Label the bottom of the graph to explain what the numbers tell. What do the numbers tell? Okay. So you're going to choose numbers from the bottom of the graph so that the most of the bars will end on a line. So we know here the greatest number is 14. The least number is 4. Okay, so we're going to do the scale from 0. So we always want to start at 0. And we're going to go 2 more than 14. We're going to go a little bit higher than our greatest number. In this case, is we're going to do our graph, our numbers by 2s. Okay, we're going to go to 16 here. We're going to go from 0 to 16 here. Okay. So this is what your graph will look like. Oops. Okay. So again, you have these are the sports, right? Which are the sports. This one's the number of votes, the tallies. And this soccer, there was what, 12? Basketball, there was 4. And notice how we labeled them from 0 to 16. We go a little bit higher so that we won't have the graph ending right here. Okay, just so this looks a little bit neater. And we're going to skip by 2s. So once we get the number that is the least number and the greatest number, we can adjust this. But you have to have the data here. Favorite team sport, sports, and number of votes. Now it's asking you, how did you know to put this graph here in between the 8 and the 10? Well, it was 9. 9 shows football, so 9 falls in the middle. So that's why we do that. That answers this question right here. Then they're going to ask you questions related to this graph here. So what you want to do is make sure your graph looks like this. Okay. And again, we're just taking the data from here. So 5, 10, 12, 4, 5, 10, 14, 5, and so forth. Okay. So this is what yours look like after you fill it out. So now we're going to look at this one. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, but now you're looking at pictographs. So Matt's school is having a walkathon to raise money from the school library. Matt made a pictograph to show the number of miles some students walked. Make a bar graph of Matt's data. Use a scale of 0 to what? Well, what's our highest number? And then remember, the pictograph, each little shirt represents 2 miles. So let's get the highest number. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 is the highest. And what is our lowest? It'd be band 2. This is 2, 4, this is 5, remember, because it's half. It's 2, 4, 6, 8 for Erica. Okay, so now we have our data, and the most important thing is to get this number set up here. Okay. Here is our title, School Walkathon. Okay. Here we could put the names of students right here. We'll have Sam, Matt, Ben, and Erica. Okay, and these will be our numbers from 0. So if our highest one is 10, we can go to what? We go to 12, right? So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, what is this? What is this number? Well, the miles walked. The miles walked. And the name of the students, okay? And then plot your bar graph. Well, we got one already done for you. So once you get yours done, it should look like this. Oops. Okay? So we go from 0 to 12. Okay, and mark the scale by 2. Now we go to 12. Why? Because our highest one was 10. So Sam, 10. Matt did 5. Ben did 2. And Erica did 8. This is what your bar graph should look like. So this is the number of miles and the students. Okay, so make sure you have your data here because that's going to count. Okay. So now we just look at questions. Which student walked the most miles? Or go. Which one walked the most? It would be Sam. How many more miles would Matt have to walk to equal the number of miles Erica? So find out how many Matt walked. And so look, it falls between the 4 and the 6. So this is 5. And Erica walked 8. So Matt would have to walk an extra 3 more miles. How many miles in all did the students walk? Well, we just add them all. 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17, 17 plus 8 is 25. Write the number of miles the students walked in order from greatest to least. And now greatest to least, it'd be 10, 8, 5, 2. Okay, explain how the graph would change if another student, Daniel, walked double the number of miles Erica walked. Well, you would have to add one more for Daniel and double Erica's. So the graph would have to go higher here. So double Erica's, that'd be what, 16. So it'd probably go up to 18 here. And then Daniel's will be up to 18. Okay, so you would add the bar for Daniel and the bar would end at 16 because we're doubling Erica's. Again, you're just using the knowledge that you already have. So you're looking at your next question here. Again, Susie recorded the number of points some basketball players scored. Use the data in the table to make the bar graph. Choose a number so that most of the bars will end on a line. So we've got the highest is what? 30. So we'd go to what? From 0 to what? From 0 to 40. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. And what is this? The points scored. What are these? The players. And each one is one for Billy, one for Dwight, for James, Raoul, and Sean. And then you would plot them according to the numbers. So again, 0, 40, because we're going. So you're grouping them by 10. So the middle part would be what? 0, 5, 10, 50, yes. And your graph should look like this. So Billy's did 10, Dwight was 30, and so on. So notice, make sure you have your title, everything identified in the graph. This is very important. You cannot leave any of this out because if somebody comes and looks at it, they're going to be able to read it if you have everything labeled. Then we just answer the questions. Which player scored the most points? We'll just go and look. Be Dwight, right? The next one is write and solve a new problem that matches the data, and then the answers are going to vary. But in this one, since Billy and Sean both scored 10, I would choose that one. What two players scored the same number of points? Or how many more points did Dwight score than Raoul? Okay. Or compare the number Raoul and Sean scored to the number that Dwight and James scored. Which is greater? Or how would you order them from least to greatest or greatest to least? So the questions that you create will vary. Which player scored 10 fewer points than Raoul? Well, Raoul scored how many? He scored 25. Okay, 25. So 10 less, subtract 10, that'd be 15. So somebody, that'd be James. James. The next one. What if James scored 5 more points? How many points did all the 5 players score? So James, you would add 5 more. So James would fall to 20. So it'd be 20. Then you would add them. 10 plus 30 is 40. And 40, 70, 80, 95. 95. It'd be 95 if we had, but you have to, because it says, what if James scored 5 more? So James would be 20. Okay? And when you add them all up, it's 95. That's your answer right there. We'll take a good look at how well you're doing. I'm very, very proud of each and every one of you. You've been an amazing, amazing group of students. And I have been blessed to have such wonderful students who are attentive, who are on point every day, and who are respectful. And from the bottom of my heart, I really want to thank all of you for a wonderful, wonderful year. Thank you again for being such a great, great group of students. For now, this is Mr. Lopez signing off. Good luck on your daily task assessment and your homework and practice. And again, like anything else, if you have any questions, please ask me through emails or through our live sessions. This is Mr. Lopez signing out.